Duskfall didn't welcome visitors, it swallowed them. Captain Ria Vasquez stood at the edge of the drop bay, eyes scanning the black void outside the ship. The planet had no sun. No stars. Just a dark world drifting in silence, where even the scanners gave up trying. Team, lights off. Switch to thermal and echo mapping, she ordered, voice steady. Can't believe we're doing this blind, grumbled Macklin, locking his sniper rifle into place. This place creeps me out. Good, Ria said, slipping her visor down. Stay creeped out. Fear sharpens reflexes. The four-person recon squad filed out. Their boots touched soil like ghosts landing in a graveyard. No wind. No echo. Just blackness. Their mission was simple on paper: find out what happened to Recon Team Zeta, last seen 2 weeks ago. Their signal had gone dead, no retrieval, no rescue, just whispers that they'd vanished. Juno, the team's comms officer, tightened her grip on her scanner. Picking up faint residuals. Signal trail is weak, but it's real. Follow it, Ria said. Her voice cut through the void like a knife, measured, direct. They moved through terrain lit only by their helmets' thermal overlays. Jagged rocks. Bioluminescent fungi pulsing faint blue. But more concerning were the signs of disturbance: claw marks on walls, snapped bones near heat vents, and something else, slime trails. Singh, the engineer, scanned the residue. Organic. Acidic. Not native. Definitely Varkari. Ria's jaw tightened. The Varkari were nightmare fuel, six-limbed insectoids bred for one thing: hunting prey in darkness. This planet was their playground. They're testing us, she muttered. Picking off the bold. Zeta walked into their net. We're not making the same mistake. 10 minutes in, the team descended into a narrow crevice. The temperature dropped sharply. The static on their comms thickened. Then a flash. Contact. Juno screamed, but it was too late. A black form lunged from above, fast and silent. It snatched her mid-sentence, disappearing into the ceiling of shadows. A single boot hit the ground with a soft thud. Hold position. Ria snapped. Macklin fired a tracer round upward, nothing. Just rock. Juno was gone. Silence returned. Singh cursed under his breath, fingers twitching at his belt. This is bad. They're not attacking in groups, they're isolating us. They think we're fragile in the dark, Ria said coldly. They're wrong. The team retreated into a cavern, deeper underground, where the light from the fungi grew faint and scattered. Ria activated a small infrared perimeter field. It shimmered for a moment before going invisible. Eyes open. Set traps. We make a stand here. Macklin checked his ammo. That wasn't just a strike. It was a warning. Ria nodded. They're toying with us. Singh sat down, syncing his drone to a sonar ping system. Give me 60 seconds. I'll light this cave up like a goddamn map. Ria crouched beside him, her voice low. They think we rely on our eyes. But we grew up under stars. Cities. Caves. Earth didn't hand us vision. We earned it. 30 seconds passed. The drone hovered into the air and pulsed, quietly. It mapped the cave in layers of sound. The image fed into their visors, a massive underground tunnel, with branching veins like arteries. Too many paths. Too many hiding spots. Then, movement. A flicker. Heat signature. 20 meters out. They're circling, Singh whispered. Let them, Ria said. She tapped her wrist console. Deploy echo bait. Mini speakers rolled into the tunnel, mimicking footsteps and human heartbeats. A classic military trick. But Ria wasn't counting on tricks. She was counting on instinct. 5 minutes passed. Nothing. Then, sharp clicking. Did you hear that? Macklin hissed. Another click. Closer. Rhea signaled silence. The team froze. From the tunnel came a sound, low, rhythmic. Breathing? Growling? Then the whisper. "You are lost," it rasped in broken human tongue. Rhea didn't flinch. "And you're about to be outmatched." A blur darted across her visor. She didn't shoot. She waited. A second blur, closer. Then the third charged. She moved first. Rhea rolled sideways, grabbed the blur mid-lunge, and slammed it into the ground. The thing screeched, mandibles snapping, limbs flailing. She drove her blade through its thorax in one clean motion. The Valkyrie gasped, choked, and died. Macklin's rifle cracked. Another body dropped. Singh electronetted a third as it pounced from the shadows. 3 down. They dragged the corpses into the center of the chamber. Rhea leaned close to one, examining its visor. "This one's a scout. Testing our reaction speed." "You think the big ones are next?" Singh asked. "No," she said. "They already watched. Now they think we're interesting." A distant howl echoed through the cave, deep, resonant, alien. Corlith was watching. Rhea stood tall. "They assumed we'd panic. Scatter. Cry for light." Macklin lit a flare and tossed it into the darkness. "You gonna tell them they made a mistake?" Rhea's eyes gleamed under the visor. "No," she said, drawing her knife. "I'm going to show them." The Valkyrie scout's corpse still twitched as Singh scraped its carapace for samples. Its black exoskeleton shimmered like oil in infrared, cracked open by Rhea's blade with surgical precision. "Chitin's layered. Absorbs low-caliber fire," Singh muttered, inspecting the fragments. "But joints and necks, those are weak spots." Rhea didn't respond. She was watching the cave mouth. "Captain?" Macklin's voice was low. "You think that howl came from their leader?" Rhea nodded. "He saw the kill. He knows we can fight. That changes the game." She looked at the drone's mapping overlay. A nearby tunnel, tight and curved, opened into a chamber with a single entry. "Perfect choke point. We draw them there," she said. "And we don't leave bodies this time. We make them vanish." The trap began with silence. Singh rigged proximity mines using pulse triggers, silent, heat-sensitive, barely detectable. Macklin placed motion lures that mimicked human breathing patterns. Every sound was calculated to manipulate a hunter's instincts. They weren't trying to survive anymore. They were baiting. Midway through setup, a voice crackled through the comms, static-laced, barely intelligible. "Vasquez, it's Morgan. Zeta team." Rhea froze. "Morgan, confirm location," she said. "How many survivors?" 2, maybe 3. Deep tunnels. They're hunting us. Feeding on the others. Don't make noise." Then silence. "Morgan?" Rhea whispered. "Nothing." Her fists clenched. Juno might still be alive. Zeta wasn't gone, they were being stored. Picked off slowly. For sport. "They're not just killers," Macklin said darkly. "They're collectors." Nightfall didn't change duskfall, it only reminded them how long it had been dark. The new chamber stank of sulfur and rotting meat. The walls were slimed with bioresidue, signs the Valkyrie had used it as a nest or feeding ground. "This is where they drag the bodies," Singh said quietly. "We're walking through a butcher's den." "Then we turn it into a graveyard," Rhea replied. She activated her HUD uplink and tapped into the traps. All mines live. All lures engaged. Now we wait. They didn't wait long. The first Valkyrie came crawling across the ceiling, silent, deliberate. Rhea spotted the outline on thermal just before it reached the lure. Boom! The proximity charge shredded it mid-pounce, scattering armor and limbs. Macklin exhaled. "That's one." Seconds later, 2 more emerged from opposite tunnels. They split formation, flanking smart. Rhea knelt behind a stalagmite, letting them close in. She whispered, "Sing. Net 1. I want it alive." Sing nodded, rolled a capsule underhand. The moment one stepped into the open, the net exploded outward, magnetized filaments wrapping around its limbs, locking tight. It screeched and thrashed, clawing at the trap. The second pounced at Sing, but Macklin's shot cracked through the air. Headshot. The body collapsed in twitching spasms. Rhea advanced on the netted creature. "You hear me?" she asked, voice low. The Valkyrie hissed, its mouth full of chittering mandibles. Still, its eyes, beady, multifaceted, watched her with something close to curiosity. She crouched. "You thought darkness would make us afraid." She leaned closer. "You were wrong." An hour later, they dragged the captured Valkyrie into a sealed crevice where Sing installed a low-frequency emitter. "It can't scream," Sing said. "The sound barrier holds. Nothing in, nothing out." Macklin paced. "We've killed 5. That leader's bound to notice." Rhea stared into the scanner overlay. She knew he was watching. Corlith wouldn't rush. He'd be calculating, measuring them. They had turned from prey into unknowns. Which made her dangerous. Good. Far above, in a nest carved into the stone, Corlith watched the human display. His mandibles clicked in mild annoyance. 5 dead. 2 traps evaded. 1 captured. He tapped into the shared Valkyrie neural network, sending a pulse through his hive mind. He issued a command, not to attack, but to observe. These humans, they navigated without light. Without pheromone trails. They mimicked noise and lured his scouts into ambushes. And they waited. The female commander moved like a predator, not like prey. And worst of all, she was teaching the others. He tasted something he hadn't known in a long time. Uncertainty. Back in the human hideout, Rhea gathered her team. "We're not just surviving anymore," she said. "We're escalating." Sing raised an eyebrow. "You mean?" "We're going after their nest." Macklin tilted his head. "The one with the stacked heat signatures? The cavern shaped like a spiral?" "That's the one," she confirmed. "It's their hive." "And Juno?" he asked. "If she's alive, that's where she is." Silence. Then Macklin nodded once. "Then let's finish this." Before they moved, Sing hacked into the Valkyrie scout's neural implant. It was primitive, pulsing with memory flashes, jagged images of terrain, hunt patterns, target tags. Suddenly, a spike of data flooded in, one image clearer than the rest. A human woman, eyes swollen, bruised, caged, surrounded by clawed guards. "Juno," Rhea whispered. Sing gasped. "She's still alive." Rhea stood, a cold fire burning in her chest. "We're taking the fight to them." Macklin grinned. "Now we're hunting." The approach to the Valkyrie hive was silent. No wind. No wildlife. Just stone and shadow. Captain Rhea Vasquez moved first, crouched low, rifle tight against her shoulder. Macklin flanked left, scanning with thermal optics. Sing followed, carrying the last of their charges, EMP spikes wrapped in stealth mesh. Their breath fogged the inside of their visors, heat signatures stark against the cold stone walls. Rhea paused at the hive entrance. It was enormous, arched, jagged, with black vines pulsing faintly. Organic. Alive. Like the planet itself had given birth to it. She spoke quietly. "Once we're inside, no retreat. We finish this." Macklin checked his blade. "Wouldn't have it any other way." Sing nodded. "Juno's in there. We owe her this." Inside, the air changed. Thick. Warm. Damp with the scent of iron and rot. The walls were carved into spirals. Deep grooves from claws. Hanging sacks lined the edges, organic pods. Some were split. Empty. Others moved. Rhea glanced at them but kept walking. Distraction was death here. Her HUD pinged, motion, 80 meters ahead. Clustered signatures. Too uniform to be patrols. Cages, Singh whispered, studying the map. They're keeping humans alive. Maybe others. Macklin muttered, collectors. Like you said. Rhea's hand tightened on her rifle. Then we clear the gallery. They reached the holding chamber. It was worse than they imagined. Rows of cages built into walls, formed from bone and metal, dripping with sap-like slime. Inside, humans huddled, weak and silent, eyes dull. And in the center, Juno. Her lip was split, armor stripped, but her eyes locked on Rhea the moment she entered. Rhea, she whispered, stunned. Without a word, Rhea pulled her blade and carved the lock open. Juno fell into her arms. They feed us to their young, she rasped. You weren't supposed to come. Rhea steadied her. You should know by now. We never do what we're supposed to. Alarms triggered, deep pulses echoing through the hive. They know, Singh said grimly. Rhea handed Juno a compact pistol. Can you move? Juno nodded, jaw clenched. I'm not dying in this pit. Then stick close. They guided the freed survivors into a narrow tunnel Singh marked as an exit vector. He handed each a beacon, pinging Earth command through layers of rock. They'll come, Singh said. They'll see our signal. And if they don't, one of the survivors asked. Macklin's voice was flat. Then we bury this place before it buries us. The final corridor narrowed. That's when they saw him. Corlith. He stood still, tall and angular, limbs coated in black armor, barbed and gleaming. His eyes reflected infrared, a shimmering red. You surprise me, human, he said, his voice guttural and sharp. You adapt faster than expected. Rhea didn't raise her weapon yet. You made a mistake. I made many. But none fatal. She stepped forward. You assumed darkness belonged to you. That fear was a weakness. Corlitha's mandibles clicked. Isn't it? Not for us, she said. It's fuel. Corlith lunged. Fast. But Rhea was faster. She ducked, rolled, fired, 3 bursts. One grazed his shoulder, another missed, the third hit armor and sparked off. Macklin flanked, unloading a grenade. It detonated midair, lightless, pulsing with concussive energy. Corlith staggered. Singh dashed left, planting EMPs on the tunnel walls. 10 seconds, he shouted. Corlith swiped at Macklin, caught his arm, snapped the shoulder clean. Macklin screamed but held his ground, stabbing the creature in the side before being thrown across the tunnel. Rhea closed the distance. No gun. Just the knife. Corlith swung. She ducked. Drove the blade into his jaw. It lodged deep. He shrieked, raw, wild. Then the EMPs went off. The hive shuddered. Everything blinked, tech, light, neural signals. Rhea wrestled the disoriented creature, slamming him into the wall. He writhed, stunned by the pulse. She leaned in, breath heaving. This isn't your world anymore. And she pulled the blade free, slicing through. Corlith dropped, dead. Minutes passed. The survivors made it to the surface. A flare arced upward, visible even in Duskfall's endless dark. They waited. A hum broke the silence. Dropships. Earth had seen them. Rescue was coming. Macklin, bleeding but alive, leaned against the wall. Think we made our point? Rhea sat beside him. We didn't come here to prove anything. He raised an eyebrow. She looked out into the void. We came because we don't run. Final transmission. Mission log update, Duskfall secured. Hostiles neutralized. Survivors extracted. Enemy underestimated human adaptability in zero-light environments. Recommend classification, Night Warfare Specialists. Addendum, they assumed we feared the dark, but we learned to hunt in it. The sky never changed on duskfall. No sunrise. No dusk. Just an endless void where time had no meaning. Captain Rhea Vasquez sat near the extraction site, bandaging a deep cut on her forearm. The battle was over. Corlith was dead. The Varkari hive was in ruins. And yet, the weight in her chest remained. Juno, now wrapped in a borrowed survival blanket, crouched beside her. "You're too quiet." Rhea tightened the bandage. "Just thinking." Juno exhaled sharply. "That's never good." Macklin groaned from where he lay, half-drugged on painkillers. "She's thinking about the ones we left down there." Rhea didn't deny it. The dropships had come. The mission was over. Command would debrief them, analyze the data, declare victory. But they hadn't killed all the Varkari. The hive was broken, but deep tunnels stretched further than their scans could detect. There would be survivors, those who fled, those who would rebuild. Rhea knew it wasn't finished. "Recon's over," Singh said, walking up to them. "Fleet Command wants us topside in 10. We're shipping out." Juno glanced toward the ruins of the Varkari nest. "And then what? We just pretend this place never happened?" Rhea looked at her. "No. We remember." Inside the command ship, the debrief was short. Admiral Chen appeared on screen, arms crossed, expression unreadable. "You went off mission, Captain Vasquez." Rhea stood firm. "Zeta team was still alive. I made a judgment call. You also engaged a hostile force without authorization." Macklin scoffed from his seat. "Would you rather we'd let them keep hunting us?" Chen's expression didn't change. "Casualties?" 3 from Zeta. 2 civilians. "We recovered 12, Rhea replied. "And the Varkari?" Rhea's voice was cold. "Dead." Chen was silent for a long moment. Then, a slow nod. "Intel suggests more Varkari nests exist off-world. Duskfall wasn't their only hunting ground." Rhea had expected that. "Which means," she asked. Chen leaned forward. "Which means we need to be ready. You've proven humans can fight in the dark. You'll be leading the next operation." Later, in the med bay, Macklin was propped up on a cot, fresh stitches lining his shoulder. He smirked as Rhea sat next to him. "So, we going back?" "Not here," she said. "But somewhere worse." Singh tapped on his tablet, showing a rotating planetary map. "Command's sending us into deep space. Tracking down Varkari nests. Rooting them out." Juno chuckled darkly. "Guess they really don't like that we made it out alive." "They assumed we feared the dark," Rhea murmured. "Now they know better." She glanced at the screen, reading the mission brief. Another shadowed world. Another hunt. She wasn't afraid. She was ready. Final transmission. Human adaptability confirmed. Night warfare capabilities unmatched. Varkari expansion must be countered. Mission parameters updated. This was not the end.